All right, hello and welcome to episode number 2 of Know It All's Talkball podcast. I'm here with Juan again. We just want to say again a quick thank you to everyone that watched the first episode. We're sitting on 5 subscribers, which is
That's
just
3 more than I expected.
yeah,
I thought
and
it'd just be us.
exactly, and 5 more, and we'll have a 10 subscriber special. So let's bump those numbers up.
Giveaway.
But yeah, this is really, like we said in the first episode, just a passion project for us too. But obviously, having people watch really does sort of help us put more effort into these videos as well. And I'm going to hand over to Juan now, who's going to take us through what we're going to see in this episode.
Yeah, so for the second episode, we did do a big preview of the big weekend of football, so just get a few reactions here and there. We also had halfway of the Champions League has gone by, so we thought we'd take a look at what team has surprised you and what team has surprised me specifically, and well, not me specifically, but in general. Then we're going to do some big previews of big games. We got Liverpool-Arsenal this weekend and Der Klassiker.
Yeah, a couple big games. We're going to go outside the Premier League this week because, there's Liverpool-Arsenal, but other than that, there's nothing really that took too much of our interest. So we're going to have a little look at Bayern-Borussia Dortmund.
And, of course, we're also going to have our Anything But Ball segment, which actually this week we might either talk about Zidane being bad, as Jason said.
Well, I have to back up my ridiculous claim or what some
you
people...
just said it,
and then that was it. Yeah, so.
That was it. Maybe that's why we didn't have many subscribers. Not very popular in France.
No. But I will back those claims up later in this episode, so stay tuned.
It's time for some reactions, isn't it, from the weekend? Let's not get aggressive at the start, right?
Hey, I'm calm.
We watched the game together. I wasn't very calm at all.
I know.
I celebrated every single goal like it was crazy. But let's not talk about City and United. Let's start with Spurs and Arsenal.
Yeah, so did you watch the game?
I did, yes.
Yeah.
What did you think?
It was a really good game.
Yeah.
Arsenal by far the better team.
Way better.
And now they look like the real deal. I mean, that game to United seems to be like a bit of a blip on the radar now.
Yeah.
They've recovered really well, and they've gone beat the only other. Well, they were the only other unbeaten team apart from City. I think they played really well. The penalty was a little bit comical, the way they gave that away.
Yeah, Gabriel, I thought that back like Saliba, we talked about it in the last episode. He's been so good since coming on the team.
Yeah.
But Gabriel, I think I would probably still think that Ben White and Saliba are your backline of the future. Gabriel, I was super excited when he joined Arsenal because he looked really good in France, but I think he's a little bit error prone here and there, and it was very clumsy penalties to concede.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't just the tackle from Gabriel that was a bit of a miss, but sort of the whole sequence of play coming into that, ball bouncing around the penalty area, they didn't get it clear. So there are still things that Arsenal can work on, but other than that, they completely shut Harry Kane and the rest of Spurs down.
I thought in that game, the only one that Harry Kane was the only one that at least did something. I was just checking the stats. Heung-min Son didn't have a shot.
No,
he did not have.
He was so
shot.
Quiet. Yeah.
That's ridiculous. We talked all about Ben White. Would he struggle against Heung-min Son? Heung-min Son didn't even show up.
In his back pocket.
His back pocket.
Yeah.
He was awful. But I think, like we said, Arsenal played really well. Thomas Partey scored a beautiful goal. Really nice.
Oh, what a goal. Beautiful. This whole week, there's a lot of good goals this weekend.
Yeah, a lot of nice goals. This was just a quick reaction to that game. I thought it was good. It was a fun game, like we expected.
It was a good game.
You got the prediction. You got the prediction right.
I don't know if I got the score right. Did I?
No. You said 2-1, right?
I think 2-1. So 3-1 at finish. So, yeah.
Well, whatever.
Yeah. Oh well. But hey, let's get into the big one.
Let's get into the big one. Before we get to the big one, I don't know. really like hot right now, and I'd really like to take my hoodie off.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Yeah.
Because like I'm really like uncomfortable. Like
Oh, he's got a shit. Oh,
you know this man.
knew it.
Look at this. Let me show you this. Look who's on the back. The big man.
You got to turn a little bit
Oh, I
more.
gotta turn a little bit more. Look at that.
There you go.
Can you see the big man?
Yeah.
Erling Haaland. Before you judge me, I paid 20 euros for this in Greece. I know it's not the original thing, but it's
It's because you're not a real fan.
If any of our 5 subscribers like to send me a real jersey, I'd love it.
Yeah, we should get a PO box, can't
Yeah, we should get a PO box. Yeah.
But
wearing the jersey of the man of the hour.
yeah, to the game. I was, you know, when I gave you my prediction last week, I remember you saying, "Oh, you've got no faith." Turns out I had too much faith.
Too much.
You know. Yeah, 4-0 in the first half.
4-0 in the first half. As a City fan, it couldn't have been more perfect. Like,
oh, you think? Huh?
like not only did we score 6, but we had a hat trick from like our big signing, who, at this point, like even as a City fan, I'm starting to get scared of how good this guy is, because I'm scared that he's so good that like I'm just gonna expect him to score a hat trick every game, and at this point he's almost doing that. But there's gonna come a time where he hasn't scored only in one game this year. That's insane.
Against who?
Bournemouth.
Against the one he should have got a hatful. He doesn't score.
He did get an assist though.
Yeah. No, and you can see. I think he's more than just a goal scorer as well. That pass to Foden for the fourth
3
goal.
goals, 2 assists.
Yeah.
5 goal involvements. And Foden getting a hat trick, his first career hat trick.
Yeah.
As a City Academy boy, you know, a lot gets talked about like oil money and like we have no fans, but to see our
you guys have a youth
boy,
academy as well.
yeah, to see our boys score a hat trick like against United, it was awesome. Like,
We've got a City boy in the lineup too. He's just not performing as well.
oh, he played for City, Jadon Sancho.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Did he score? No, who scored?
Today?
To Martial and
To Martial and Anthony with the
very
Pearly.
nice
Yeah.
But in general, what was your thoughts of the team?
Of the
United specifically?
I mean, I think there's so little to say because they were so not in the game. Like, you know, it could have been like we got 3 goals in the end, and some people would say that restored some, you know, some dignity to the scoreline.
If you
No,
don't
it
watch
didn't.
the game, I think it did. If you don't watch the game and you like, oh, the Manchester Derby, you look at the score, 6-3, you're like, well, actually, no, shipping 6 goals is never good.
Yeah, exactly. I think whenever a team ships 6 goals, if you go in and you look at the stats or if you watch the actual game, they've been absolutely destroyed. And that was the case in this story. It was we weren't there. It was especially in the first half, man. It was just
the first half was like your defense. Like I had a little bit more faith in Varane and Martinez, maybe because I was a bit nervous for the game, but I couldn't believe how easily like everyone got past everyone. Like Grealish, I think was his best game ever in the City shirt. He was ridiculous the whole game.
The wings, we just couldn't handle him.
No, and that's probably our best starting front 3. Haaland, Grealish, and Foden, because Grealish and Foden offer like different stuff in attack. Like Foden's so direct, like he shoots, he likes to do the low crosses. He's just so direct, and Grealish is a little bit more like holding on to the ball. So every time we attack from the wings, it's like a different type of attack. And Haaland, it doesn't matter if you put like a 50-50 cross, one-on-one with a keeper outside the ball. He's gonna smash it home.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. They were just creating so much space on the wings, and then Haaland was just in acres in the box as well.
He was so good.
That second goal, Varane went off injured, right? And I turned to you and I was like, Varane off for the corner. That's great. Straight into Haaland. Scores. I was like, come on.
I feel like I should apologize. So I celebrated every goal like we won. I was so hyped.
So loud.
I would get up and like, oh, like,
and I was head in hands. Like it was just. It was a rough day, but
hey, you'll get us next time.
No, we won't. Like, if you have the same team, we won't. It's just not possible. No. Like you guys are just head and shoulders above every other team in the Prem right now. Yeah, and every other team in the world as well.
I would say so. I mean, like we are going to talk about Champions League. I don't know if we're going to talk about City necessarily because I think them having 9 points from 3 group stage games was just expected, really.
Yeah, it's mundane.
Pretty badly against Dortmund. Like we definitely should have lost that game. It was some Haaland crazy goal that won us the game, but. Yeah, you know, for reactions, like, I'm feeling great. It was a great weekend.
Yeah, And that's it for our first segment, our reaction segment. Next up, we've got our Champions League surprises, isn't it?
Champions League surprises.
Yeah. So stay tuned. All right, so welcome back. So this is, as you've heard before, our UEFA Champions League surprises segment. So we're halfway through the group stage games at the moment, and both of us have picked a team or something that has really stood out to us in those first few games. So my team, Club Brugge, 3 from 3.
Crazy.
They haven't conceded.
They haven't conceded.
They have not conceded. This is why Mignolet is on is out there. They haven't conceded a goal.
Their group is not like
it's not easy.
that easy.
No, they beat Porto, Atletico,
and Leverkusen, right?
And Leverkusen. Yeah,
that's a pretty tough.
It's a it's a good
group.
pool. Yeah,
it's not an easy group. Like on paper, you would not expect Club Brugge to even make top 2 in that group.
No,
I would think they'd come last.
They've never qualified for the Champions League knockout stage.
The Champions League ones.
European
Cup.
I don't know if they've done. Oh yeah, then they've done that. But
maybe
Champions League, they've never gone into the knockout stage.
Well, I kind of hope they do. I mean,
me too. They're bloody well. I mean, they just need like one more win, maybe not even a win, right?
No, I think if they just did they play? So we each took a team. So did they play their games at home? This one, like how many games did they have at home? The 2.
Ooh, I'm not too sure actually. Let's see if we can quickly find some info on that.
Just look for it. But I've been impressed. I think Porto is quite a good team. Leverkusen is a bit all over the place this year. Like, they just fired their coach. I think that they're fighting for relegation, if not second last in the Bundesliga.
Really? Leverkusen?
Yeah. But Porto has been okay. Like, they had a really good, strong year last year. So it's quite shocking that Bruges is doing this good.
Yeah. Leverkusen was at home. They beat Porto 4-0 away.
Yeah, that game was crazy.
Yeah. And then 2-0 against Atletico, also at home.
Okay, so it does maybe get a little bit tougher that they have to go away.
They have to go away to Atletico and away to Leverkusen.
Yeah.
But
they did win 4-0 at home.
But interesting as well. That's all. We just got a little bug in here. He's enjoying the podcast. Yeah, probably. But interesting as well. They in all their games that they won had less shots than all of their opponents. So that's why I've singled out Mignolet as one of the stars of the show. He made some really good saves against Atletico the other night as well. And also did some great shithousery before the penalty against Griezmann.
Right?
Yeah, Griezmann hit the bar, and he's in the goal, sort of clapping about. And I think he got a yellow card for pissing about the ref before the penalty as well.
Hey, that's that experience.
Yeah, exactly. That's that Liverpool experience.
He's played in the Prem. He's played in
he's played everywhere.
He's played at I'm pretty sure he's played at World Cups and Euros for sure. Oh no, Courtois exists. I I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, yeah. But he better watch out, Courtois. Hey, he's coming for you. Your spot in Belgium. But let's. I've also singled out another player here. Ferran Jugla. Okay. So he's got 2 goals, 2 assists in the Champions League. So he's very sort of up there in that. And then in the Jupiler League, the Belgium League, he's got 6 goals and 3 assists. So he's really pumping the attack.
Yeah.
And I think he got one of the assists against Atletico last night, and he almost scored a really nice goal if it wasn't for Oblak sticking out a hand. But yeah, he looks really, really good. I'm just noticing that I've got a lot of chest showing there.
Oh, it will probably give us more subscribers.
But yeah, he's playing really well. And interesting, I think he was one of the players that Barcelona got rid of to free up some wage space because he arrived on a 5 million fee from Barcelona in the summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So well, good for him that he's like proven like that he
That
belongs at a high level. Like if he's playing this well in the Champions League.
Yeah, he looks like a class player. The chance that he had against Oblak last night, sort of ball comes into the box, he takes it on his chest and takes it on the volley on the way down. Made perfect contact with it, and sort of Oblak's diving one way and just sort of sticks up a hand, which was a really good save. But yeah, that's
okay.
That's my that's my team.
Before we wrap the Club Brugge, so they don't really. I'm assuming possession must be quite low as well.
No, that's why I'm worried about these next 3 games
so
for them as
possession
well.
is not very high. Not a lot of shots. Do you think they'll make it out of this group? It's quite it's not a group of death, but it's quite a tricky group. I feel like every team is evenly matched.
I'm gonna go yes. I mean, they only need one more result, right?
That's true. Yeah. And they still have 1 game at home.
Yeah. And like you said, Leverkusen is nothing special this season.
And
so
I think Atletico are terrible.
They're not cutting it at all.
They are terrible.
They just I don't know what's going on. Whenever they play, they're never an exciting team to watch.
But at least they could win before.
They could,
now I don't even have faith that they can win. The fact that they're relying on a Griezmann 30-minute cameo. I mean, today, I think it was today or yesterday he signed officially for Atletico. But the fact that they're relying on 30-minute cameos on a guy who is so not that confident anymore and clearly not the player he used to be is ridiculous. You have João Felix in that team. Why is that guy not... What's happened to him? That's got to be one of the dumbest moves, I think.
He's shown flashes of brilliance, but he just doesn't have the stats to back it up.
I also just don't understand why you'd go to a side that you're not going to be doing what you did at Benfica. Why would you go to a side that you're going to have to sit tight and hit people on the counter? You're not really going to succeed like that.
No.
But anyways, Atletico, different topic. I'm not really a big fan of Simeone, even though I'm from Argentina, but whatever. The other team I'd like to bring to attention is Portuguese Giants, 2-time Champions League winners, or European Cup winners, Benfica. So they're top of the group, along with PSG, in a group that has PSG, Juventus, and Maccabi Haifa from Israel. So realistically,
two really good teams, two giants.
Between Maccabi Haifa, giant of Israeli football, and Juventus, because PSG. No kidding. But on paper, when you look at that group, you think, okay, Benfica's going down to Europa League, right? Yeah. But this is the second time they do it. Last year they did it too. They were in a group with Bayern and Barca, and they outqualified Barcelona. So clearly, they did lose their start player. Their star player, I guess, in the sense of how much money he was in Darwin Nunez, because there's apparently the Benfica president, when he saw that Liverpool bid that much, he just laughed and said accept it right now, because there's no way this guy is worth that much money, which is hilarious. But yeah, they've been very good. They're also top of the Portuguese league, the Primeira Liga, and a title they haven't won since 2018-19, which is quite crazy considering that. You always, I'm not really a follower of Portuguese football outside
Me
of
neither,
No, I don't even follow the big 3. I just watch their Champions League games. So they've been doing really well. And I think the biggest key is the fact that they got Roger Schmidt in the dugout. He was PSV's coach for a couple seasons. He wasn't anything spectacular. He never really challenged Ten Hag's Ajax. But he did win the cup last year. Didn't get resigned. Immediately went to Benfica. And he's just turned them into a team they don't really score too many goals, but they definitely don't concede a lot. Let me just look at the stats I have here. They have conceded... well, first of all, he's unbeaten. 15 games in charge, no losses.
That's
13 wins, 2 draws, which is ridiculous. What else do they have? They've only conceded 5 goals in those 15 games, including Champions League. And you're playing Juventus, you're playing PSG. They beat Juventus.
Juventus are shocking this season.
Juventus are terrible. Juventus are terrible. I'm pretty sure they beat Juventus at Italy. In Turin. Yeah, because they played Maccabi Haifa at home, 1-2-0. Watch Grimaldo's goal, insane goal. And last night they got a big draw against PSG. Sure, they probably didn't deserve the draw. I think PSG played quite well. And Danilo Pereira scored an own goal. But they held their own. They drew 1-1, and now they sit top of the group.
Yeah, if you look at Club Brugge, they probably didn't deserve to win any of those games.
They didn't even concede a goal.
Exactly.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, I think Atletico had something like 20 shots.
20.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So,
But yeah, in terms of key players like Rafa's been in and out of the Portugal squad. He hasn't been called up for a couple of years, but every time I watch him play for Portugal, and that's how he.
still quite a young guy?
No, he's
Or-
29, so
Oh,
he's
29.
kind of getting up there.
Oh,
But he's
okay.
played for Benfica for basically his whole career, and he's just doing his thing as the number 10. They've also their fullbacks have been very impressive. They have this Danish guy they signed from Slavia Prague called Ba. Forgot the first name. 3 assists, top assister.
Wow.
Grimaldo has always been pretty good.
He's
for
always
that team.
good, yeah.
But they're big. I know obviously they have Nicolas Otamendi at the back, shoring things up. City legend. And
Argentina
they also have
legend.
Julian Draxler. They signed Julian Draxler
From PSG.
from
Ah.
PSG. So he actually played yesterday. He came off the bench. He still hasn't really been fully embedded in the team. And if you look at the starting lineup, like you can tell that Schmidt kind of always goes for the similar players. They also have João Mario, who has a lot of experience. But really, the guy that has been the focal point is 21-year-old striker Gonzalo Ramos. So he has 8 goal involvements in 11 games in all competitions. So it's pretty good return from a 21-year-old. And he's link-up play and just the way that he's managed to always bring players out of position to bring David Neres. David Neres has been amazing since he signed from Ajax. Well, from Shakhtar, actually, sorry. Because he went from Ajax to Shakhtar, then the war broke out, then he had to go to Benfica. He has been so good. He's really rediscovered that player that we saw during Ajax's run
In the
Champions League. Yeah.
Oh, he was some player that year.
Like just such a good dribbler, like such a good like direct dribbler. Like if I was defending him, like I think my legs would be like twisted because he's just like constantly like jumping.
Very similar player to Anthony. Brazilian, small, literally the same player.
Honestly,
and at
I
Ajax.
think like not to go on a tangent. I think bringing Anthony and seeing because I would still say Anthony's better than David Neres. Like. I think that kind of was like, okay, well, we have one of these Brazilian, like, Joga Bonito boys. We don't need two. Like, we don't need two. So, Neres, pack your bags. You're leaving.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks. But, yeah, you did touch on Juventus being absolutely terrible. They have 3 points. They lost to PSG and they lost to Benfica.
And their Serie A season is completely fallen apart as well. I think they might even be lower yet.
They're 7th. I checked today.
They're still 7th?
They have been so bad. Like, Chiesa's still injured, and I think that attack doesn't look this. Blahovic, I think, is amazing. Like, nothing against Blahovic.
He is,
he's a really good striker.
But they just don't have...
Dybala,
They don't have the midfield creativity. Who have they got in the midfield?
Well,
Rabiot?
But Pogba's injured.
Classic. I mean, when is he not? Like,
well, Rabiot scored a really nice goal to be fair yesterday. But do you really want Rabiot as your focal point?
I don't think Rabiot's a very creative player, and if he has got the creativity, he sometimes doesn't have the skills to pull it off.
Yeah, and I just feel like his head's not always there. Like some games it looks like he's super pumped. Some games he looks like he doesn't even care to be on the pitch or on the bench or at home, you know? So like I think he's got a little bit of an attitude. Well, it's known that he has a bit of an attitude issue, but
and I'm sure if Pogba goes to the World Cup, he'll play every single game and be the star player
I hope
for
so.
France.
Like we said, we won't get into the World Cup till later, which is very soon actually, the World Cup. But I hope he gets to go to the World Cup. That would suck. That would suck if like one of the stars of the last World Cup isn't going. That would be really sad for him. But in terms of quick prediction, I think they're making it out. I don't think Juventus are going through.
Oh,
I think
Benfica are making it out?
Benfica will come second.
Yeah.
I don't think that they can beat PSG in Paris. I think PSG
but
is
neither
far
can
away.
Juve. So
But
Juve's already
they
played.
lost already, so they have to play in Turin. But even then, like the form that Neymar's in, Mbappe's in, and Messi, like that's like obviously they're not unstoppable because Benfica drew against them yesterday. But Messi's goal yesterday, like it takes like 4 passes and they just score. Like they're so good up front.
Yeah, that's what when I've watched PSG this season, it's been like they've been average in possession until one moment they'll just be like, oh yeah, we'll turn it on now. Our 3 best players will just go click, 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 and it'll be a goal. One-touch football.
It's so elite, that team.
Yeah.
Like, it's so elite. But, yeah, Benfica, I think they'll make it out. I think they'll probably... Last season, they made it all the way to the quarterfinals even. They beat Ajax in the round of 16. And then they lost a pretty crazy game. 2 pretty good games against Liverpool. So, like, they're not a bad team.
No.
And it seems like Schmidt has them, like, going the right way. So, I think that Benfica, out of the group stages.
You heard it here first. There you go.
So let's do some quick predictions.
That's our next segment.
on our
Stay
next
tuned.
segment. All right, so next segment, just like our first episode, we're gonna preview some of the biggest games of the weekend, and like we said, we're going outside of the Premier League this weekend. We got this big game right here, Borussia Dortmund against Bayern, which we'll talk about. But let's stick with our comfort zone, right? Let's go.
Let's go Prem first.
Let's go Arsenal Liverpool.
Yeah.
I just want to say this schedule is insane for Arsenal. Like, how could you play? Like, I know that every team is you can lose every game and blah 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 blah. But playing Spurs, like such a game that you need to be mentally strong for, because it's like the derby. You don't want to lose at home. Like, there's a lot riding on it. And then immediately go play Liverpool the next weekend.
Yeah.
Like, that's a bit crazy.
It's a big time game. Yeah.
That's big time, like, mismanagement. They also have Europa League in the weekend, like tonight actually. So like,
They have Europa League tonight?
yeah. I'm guessing they're playing soon, or they probably just kicked off.
Yeah, they've just kicked off. Yeah.
So I think it's a bit crazy.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, it's with every team though leading up to the World. I think it's just. I mean, it's idiotic, the whole World Cup situation.
Yeah.
We can talk about that another time.
Yeah.
But every team has just. I can't remember what the commentator was saying. I think because Brighton Liverpool game was first this weekend, and I think he said there's one game down, and I think 86 or something in the 80s, and that's just Premier League games until the World Cup starts.
Yeah, I think I saw that teams that play Europe up until the World Cup have to play like 8 or 9 games in October, which is
it's nuts.
ridiculous.
It's
like
nuts.
Okay, but we're going on a tangent about player rights and whatever.
Yeah.
But Arsenal Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal look so good, and Liverpool look so average.
I mean, I thought they were going to win 4-0. They drew 3-3 with luck. I was like, Brighton in the bin. Put them in the bin. Oh, they 3-3.
Yeah, but that game, it was the same problem again.
Yeah.
And it's Trent.
Yeah.
It's, and the problem is with that team is that they need him there to create chances because he does.
Offensively, he's had maybe his best season so far. He's scoring way more than he's ever scored. He scored also in the Champions League.
He had what? He's only had 2, right?
I think he's on 3 or 4 now, which for a right back. Like,
but he hasn't
scored 2 goals in his season.
Last year he was assisting like mad at the start of the season as well. He hasn't provided that many assists, but he still plays a lot of really good long balls. And
I think that's also the assist has to do with the team more than Trent. Like, it sounds like I'm a huge Trent defender. I'm not. Like, well, Trent is not even himself a defender. So, but I think the fact that like they're not playing with Mane, Salah, Firmino, Jota, whoever you want to play in the middle, and they're playing with Darwin, I think like that attack just doesn't look the same
as did
without Mane. And I don't think it's just that Mane was there. I think it's the fact that they're playing now with like an out-and-out 9, and Salah, he's not a conventional right winger. Like Salah is an inverted forward.
Yeah, he loves cutting in.
And Darwin isn't going to be dropping back. Like if that team had Harry Kane next to Salah and Luis Diaz or Diogo Jota, that would be insane because the way Kane drops, like. But I just think that attack has been like, it's too early to call Darwin Nunez a flop. But like, I think the change, which fair enough, you can expect a professional football player to just like, first day in, I know exactly my role. But I think that's going to be what Klopp has to do because like change the way that this attack works.
Yeah, I think sort of Mane brought when you had Mane there, you've got pace through the middle, pace on either side. Yeah. So you had teams just struggling to hold them back. Yeah. But with Darwin in there, he's more like a target man. He's like, you have to look for him. He has to be in the right place at the right time. Yeah. And I think he's a good player. Like when I see him play, I've seen he can definitely finish. He's got the physical attributes of a great striker. But there's no way in hell he's worth 80 million, or at least not at this stage.
No. It's clearly a potential buy. And I think it was also like, because I don't know if he scored a hat-trick against Liverpool at Anfield or if he scored 2, but
Liverpool seem to have a habit of buying players that play well against, because they went and bought Oh, he played with Haaland at Salzburg. Minamino.
Minamino, yeah.
Yeah, they went and bought him after he had a good game as well. And what did he do? He went on loan to Southampton.
And now he plays for Monaco.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't pay 80 million for him,
No,
but
thank God.
yeah, I think that's a bit of a weird signing.
Yeah, I think Liverpool just got to figure something out. Like, they beat Rangers 2-0, Champions League, which is, of course, a good result. You need to get Champions League results. But Rangers are awful, in my opinion.
Great.
They're so bad.
Gio van Bronckhorst, the coach there.
He played. I don't know. I don't watch any Scottish football, so I have no idea how they play.
But they lost the derby against Celtic 4-0.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but anyways, like, I think Liverpool got to fix something and fix it soon. This could be a huge momentum swing for Liverpool.
This is make it or break. You know.
Yeah. Because if they get humiliated, the way that Arsenal has been humiliating teams.
Yeah.
Then you really start to question, like, okay, either we burn this to the ground next season and we hope Klopp stays.
Yeah.
Or we get rid of him because, like, there's too much pressure at a club like that.
I think it would be obscene to get rid of.
It would be crazy
to get rid of Klopp.
But the most overrated manager of all time.
What? You think so?
I mean, he's barely won anything.
Yeah, that's
considering
true.
Like.
But he has been at Dortmund. Like, you know, you're gonna struggle to win big trophies at Dortmund.
Yeah.
You know.
Forgive the motorcycle noises.
Yeah.
Maybe we can cut this part out.
But let's get to an actual score prediction.
Okay, yeah. So we hyped Arsenal up. We destroyed Liverpool. What's your score prediction?
I'm gonna go. The thing is, if Liverpool turn up, they'll win. But on form, I'm gonna go 2-1 Arsenal.
I'm gonna go 2-0 Arsenal.
Oh wow!
I don't even think Liverpool are gonna score.
Not gonna do it.
I think Saliba is gonna. Darwin Nunez. Who is he? Have you heard of William Saliba? He's the best.
He's gonna put him in his pocket. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't see, like, the way this team. I mean, they scored 3 against Brighton, right?
Yeah.
But this defense has looked good for Arsenal. They're playing with a lot of confidence. They're beating the teams. Like, they beat Spurs. Like, I think that they're, like, just hyped, and they're, like, seeing, like, oh, we actually might have a chance. Like, yes, City still, to me, feels like we're top, but we're not.
You're gonna win.
So,
It's.
I mean, like, I don't want to say that, but, like, maybe.
If it was me, if I was the engraver, I would have no problem engraving Man City on the trophy already. Yeah, come back for me if Man City don't win the title, but in my eyes, they're already there.
Yeah, I sure hope so.
Yeah.
But let's move on. So
yeah.
We had a couple of Premier League there. Let's move on to talk about Dortmund and Bayern.
Yeah.
Such a strange classic.
Well, you were telling me before that it's not really by Germans. It's not really considered.
I mean, like, yeah. So I just came back from football training. I play with a lot of German guys, and they were all saying, like, a Classico needs to have some competition. And Dortmund, like, what was the stat?
Yeah. So in terms of no competition, Bayern have won not won or drawn. They have won the last 8 meetings between.
Can you imagine if Barcelona won the last 8 El Clasicos?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, Real Madrid would be in the mud.
Yeah. And I think in 6 of those, Bayern have scored 3 or more goals. Yeah.
I think the one that, like, sticks to me from, like, this run of 8 games, which, like, I'm not gonna pretend like I remember them. I just remember this one. I remember, like, Kovac got fired. Bayern were, like, 3rd or 4th in the league, in the Bundesliga. They were not really looking good. Like, then Hansi Flick comes in, first game, Der Klassiker. I was like, this is a chance. Like, this is a chance for Dortmund to prove, like, we're going to win this title. Bayern, you didn't start good. You switched your coach in January, February, whenever Flick came in. It was at Single and Duna Park, if I'm not mistaken. And they lost 4-0. Like, they just cannot beat Bayern.
Yeah. It's just, I think they have a bit of a mental block at the moment with it as well. And that happens to some teams. But in terms of more recent form, they're 3rd and 4th on the table.
Tied on points.
Neither have
been
made.
Unlucky, I would say.
Yeah, if you go look at the stats, this is what I'm going to come to now.
Expected goals and stuff, Bayern should be, like, top, and it shouldn't even be close.
It's Bayern have, I think, 20-something goals in the Bundesliga already. So they've scored a lot of goals, and I think Dortmund only have 11, and they've conceded 10.
Yeah.
So Yeah, to
That's
get
shaky.
that means they're in fourth place, kind of luckily, I would say.
And they've had like some shockers. Like this weekend,
They
last
lost to
weekend lost to
Leipzig.
Cologne.
Yeah, and they lost to
They lost to
Leipzig 3-0.
Leipzig. They've lost to they lost to Bremen after being up 2-0, and they conceded 2 in the last 5 minutes to
Yeah.
lose 3-2. They've just like they haven't been like obviously when Haaland is not there anymore, you're gonna expect a goal.
When you
right?
replace Haaland with Donyell Malen, it's
and also
yeah.
I think they got very unlucky. Like Allaire had such a good year last year for Ajax, and
And
unfortunately
he's out
got
now.
cancer.
That's
like,
horrible.
That was such a bad break for him, and like hopefully it seems like he's fine now. He might come back at the late February, which is good. But like outside of football, of course, I hope that everything goes well for him. And then bringing in like Anthony Modeste from Cologne just to kind of bring a striker. Like he's only scored 1 goal since he joined. He hasn't really hit the ground running, despite playing in the Bundesliga and performing there, which is a bit of a shock. But I mean, their best player by far has been Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham is maybe...
Saw it against City as well. He did a great game against City.
He always plays well against City. I think he's played us like 3-4 times, and he's always good against City.
Yeah.
I think he's better than Camavinga, Tchouaméni, all these guys coming up. I think Bellingham is just like, I think he's Phil Foden level.
Yeah, I think if
Like-
you put him in a team with Phil Foden, it would be kind of scary.
I mean,
and I wouldn't put it past Man City to do it.
I mean, he could if he leave. I mean, we're planning on losing like Gundogan. If we lose Gundogan, if we lose Bernardo Silva, then like why not bring on Jude Bellingham? I think he'll go to Liverpool, but if Liverpool's willing to spend the money, 'cause
Yeah.
he's gonna be like 150 to 200
It'd be a lot,
mil
yeah.
minimum,
Yeah.
because he's so good. And he captains the side at 19 years old. Like Borussia Dortmund, he captains the side. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's clearly a leader, and everyone's...
But speaking of Haaland, like I think Dortmund also have the same issue, right, with Lewandowski. Like you can't really replace.
You
a guy
can't
like
replace someone
Lewandowski.
that good.
No, that good and just that consistent. But they're managing to find a way. I mean, Musiala has been insane. Like Leroy Sané has been pretty good.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, in terms of the Lewandowski replacement. Like Mane... He did well. I think he scored a couple on his debut, or maybe his second game.
3 or 4.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's only a matter of time before he clicks there and they learn how to play around him. Musiala's been really good, and Thomas Miller's doing his thing as always.
They're just a much better squad.
They just, I mean,
than
the defense as well. I think Dortmund has a real big problem in defense. I think Mats Hummels he's got absolutely loads of experience, but he's so slow and so clumsy. Like in a lot of the games that I've seen, he's just, as soon as the defensive line is broken, it's gone. Like
it is tough.
Yeah.
They do seem to play a little bit sturdier with Hummels, like you said. I think it has to do with the
gives a bit of
experience.
confidence.
Because definitely like their their back two for years and years is going to be Schüle and Schlotterbeck, who I think are like probably also maybe, outside of Antonio Rudiger and a few of these other guys, but they're probably the future of the German back line too, those two with Rudiger. But yeah, I just don't really see Dortmund doing much of anything in this game. I think that it's in Dortmund. It's at the Signal Iduna. I think the fans are obviously going to get in for it. Like, there's no better atmosphere in football than that. But I think they're going to lose like 4-1.
Yeah.
And they're going to get...
That's your score prediction, 4-1.
4-1. Yeah.
Away.
Yeah.
So 1-4.
I think 1-4. Yeah, let's go with that. It sounds even worse.
I'm gonna be a little bit more optimistic. I'm gonna go 2-1 Bayern.
2-1 Bayern. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they'll be in it, but actually no, let's go 3-1. 3-1. Yeah, 3-1.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like they had good results in the Champions League. Both teams. Bayern won 5-0. Dortmund won 4-1 away at Sevilla. Like that was great.
It's a good result. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's it for predictions.
That is our predictions, and just one last little segment to go. We're just gonna go straight into this one, I think. So last week I said that, let's see if I hope I still got the stats sitting on my phone. I said Zinedine Zidane was one of the most overrated players there ever has been. And in terms of stats, I think that's definitely true. Obviously, he's won big trophies. He's won the World Cup. He's won the Champions League. But let me just get Zidane's career stats up here, because I have two players that I want to compare him to a little bit. Two sort of similar players in terms of. Yeah, so he's won. It looks like he's won 3 Club World Cups, a World Cup, a Champions League, a Super Cup, and then I'm sure he's got a couple league titles in there as well. But in total, this is international.
Right.
Is it international? Yeah. Yes. No.
Also with France?
I don't think this includes France. Okay, so only club stuff. He's got 125 goals, 137 assists.
That's pretty good.
It's very good.
For a number like for center. Well, he was a 10. Really.
He plays cam, center. Sometimes he was in center mid, yeah. And now I've got 2 players to compare him to. One of them is your man, KDB. What do you think KDB's current stats are like and his where he plays in right now?
Well, I know that he has like 94 Premier League assists because he recently passed Steven Gerrard, who had like 93 or something. And I know in the Bundesliga, he was just like a stat merchant. He had like 50 assists every year. So I'm going to guess he's probably like, how many Zidanes have? Like 137?
So Zidane had 125 goals and 137 assists.
Okay, I think De Bruyne goals, definitely not anywhere near close. De Bruyne is probably on like 55 career goals. And he's probably on like 202 assists.
De Bruyne has 134 goals.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
And 215 assists.
What?
Yeah.
134 goals?
Yeah. So I think that De Bruyne is the best attacking midfielder since Zidane. I think I said that to someone a few weeks ago. But then this is what really drives this point home for me. I'm going to pull out what I think is the most underrated player of all time. Who do you think it is? Who do you think the most underrated player is?
Angel Di Maria.
Okay, it's a decent bet.
And Sergio Aguero.
Okay. I'm going to go with Thomas Muller.
Okay, yeah, that's very good.
Yeah,
that's a good pick.
Do you want to take a stab at Thomas Muller's career stats?
Okay, so Muller's definitely on like 200 goals. If those guys are on 100 something, he must be on like 225. And then I think assists, like he's been insane. I think he's probably like on 180 assists.
He's got 271 goals, 252 assists.
What?
What a stat line that is.
That's
like nuts.
600 goal involvements.
Yeah, and you will never hear Thomas Muller's name come up in a conversation about the greatest of all time.
I honestly think like that's because he plays for Bayern and he's German. Because I think that there's a big thing about like German football teams and German football fans that like to pretend like they never had stars and they're always been a team. Like I think that's the biggest lie ever. Like, you can't say that Philipp Lahm wasn't an elite football player or a star player. Like you can't just say, oh, we're a well-oiled machine of players that are 7 out of 10s. No, you're a well-oiled machine of players that are 10 out of 10s.
Yeah.
Like.
Also, if you're like, oh, but Zidane might have more trophies. No, he doesn't. He's not even close. Muller has 3 club.
That's iffy though. Muller's are iffy because he's won like 20 Bundesligas in a row.
He's won 11 Bundesligas, but also 2 Champions Leagues and a World Cup.
He has also won a World Cup, yeah.
So that is my argument as to why Zinedine Zidane is one of the most overrated players.
I'm not. You know what? I'm not going to say you're wrong.
Yeah.
Because I think that like, I think like if you look at the stats, like.
Yeah.
If you look at the stats, then definitely the trophies like. He has won quite a few trophies, but maybe he's lacking. But I just think that Zidane, just like his iconic games, like
the way
98 France final when he played Ronaldo's Brazil, maybe like the best team at the time with the most informed Ronaldo. Like Ronaldo puked the night before, he didn't play well, but he scored 2 goals in the final to win the World Cup. The Euro 2000, he played. Insane. One of the best tournaments I've seen from a player. He has maybe the best Champions League final goal ever against Bayer Leverkusen.
Oh, the volley.
He smashes it on the volley and he puts his like above his bald ass head.
Yeah.
I don't know how he did that. And then you have 2006 World Cup, coming out of retirement to play that high level. Like, if you watch his highlights against Brazil that have prime Ronaldinho, prime Kaká, Cafu, Lucio, Dida, just like elite talent after elite talent, and he makes him look like a bunch of kids. He makes it look like he's playing Sunday League football.
True.
I think stats wise and maybe careers wise, yes, but when you watch Zidane play, like, that guy was just magic. He was so beautiful to watch on the pitch.
I think that's what Thomas Muller misses.
Yeah, he doesn't have that.
He doesn't have flair. He gets the job done.
Yeah.
And I think that's why if you look at his, this is a dumb point to bring up, but if you look at his FIFA rating, he's never been a good player to play with on FIFA.
Terrible.
He's
so
exactly.
bad.
And I think that's because I think EA even said it once. Like, they were like, "There's nothing. We can't give him pace because he doesn't have pace.
No.
We can't give him skill because he never does skill moves. You know, because he's just there and he does the job well."
I think he has you know how in German you get these crazy words that mean something so specific, but it's one word. I think that in Germany they call, and forgive all the Germans listening to this, I think they call him like the Raumdeuter or something like that, which means the space interpreter.
That sounds like something they would have said. Yeah.
And I think it's because he's just good at that. But I think, like, would I say Zidane is the most overrated player?
Yeah, I don't know about most.
Because I would say Pele is.
Oh, yeah. That's another story. Yeah.
But I think, I think if you compare him to other careers, maybe not as good. But I think just watching him on the pitch, it's the same way with Xavi. You know, Xavi probably doesn't even have 100 assists.
No.
But he was just so beautiful
class,
to watch on the pitch, and just such an intelligent player.
Yeah.
And it's same with Iniesta. You know, not really much stats.
Yeah.
But just like you watch him and you're like, yeah, this game is being won because of Iniesta or because of Xavi or because of Zidane.
Yeah.
And I think that would be my counter argument.
Yeah. I will. I'll take that. That's yeah.
Well, the civil discussion and another podcast has ended.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed being here as much as we enjoyed giving it to you. This has been
A bit sus, but whatever.
Hey, you got a dirty mind. But yeah, we'll get this out as soon as possible, and hopefully you can join us for the next one in another week.
Enjoy the weekend of football, everybody. Stay safe.